Good evening to all of you faithful viewers of Equinoxe Television, 6 p.m. in Boya. Thank you so much for joining us on this edition of the news. Our major stories tonight: Cameroonians ask questions already on the investigation ordered by the minister delegates at the presidency in charge of defense to track down those who tortured the artist Longue Longue. Civil society actors worry over the several other investigations which had been opened but yet to yield expected or desired results. We bring to you those reactions in this news edition. Plus, insecurity is still a major preoccupation to the population of Douala in Bedi. Security forces nabbed some men of the underworld. That was days ago. And in sports, Carlos Baleba and Andrew Nana are representing Cameroon in this year's CAF Awards. Viewers, those are our major stories. Details when we come back. Welcome back, viewers. Thank you so much for the confidence. Cameroonians asked questions we told you a while ago already on the investigation which have been ordered by the minister delegates at the presidency in charge of defense, Joseph Betia Somo, to track down those who tortured the artist Longue Longue. Civil society actors worry while others applaud. They worry over the several other investigations which had been opened but yet to yield expected or desired results. Innocent Aze tells us more in the report which comes up next.
The highly condemned barbaric torture meted on music star Longue Longue also brought the Minister of Defense out of his cocoon. Through the heads of communication division, the ministry, Navy Captain Siri Atomfak, the minister assures his instructed specialized services will investigate and shed more light on the violence committed allegedly by some service members of the Littoral Military Security Branch, Douala Garrison of the 2nd Joint Military Region. He asked that the responsibilities shall be established and conclusion drawn based on the results of the investigation in accordance with the laws and regulations in force. Members of the civil society and human rights advocates wish the investigation be a just one.
I think that it's very important if Cameroon authorities can investigate the authors of this torture, punish them, and then compensate Longue Longue, because I think he's the face of Cameroon in the world. And so it also shows that there's just so many people. If a high level official like the one is being tortured this way, it means that there are just so many people, nameless people, that are being tortured in Cameroon every day, and this does not augur well for the image of this country.
The military guys involved in this to be brought to order, because if you go by the CAD convention to look at what torture is, it is very severe.
Both Njilukas and Corbett Nkwang encourage the Mindef boss not to spare any of the fishes dashed out of his net, as the act grossly violates international conventions on people and human rights ratified by Cameroon.
The intention was to inflict harm on him, which they did at the end of the day. What happened to Longue Longue and the reaction of the Ministry of Defense is indeed telling exactly what many Cameroonians are going through.
It's very saddening to me, and as a human rights defender, I would not want that kind of thing, because it damages the image of Cameroon.
Several Cameroonian music stars, political leaders, the Cameroon Bar Council, human rights organizations, among other personalities and organizations, strongly condemned the torture and urged authorities to take immediate action to make sure the torturers are punished by the law.
We will be talking more on that in the second part of the news. Now, 4 suspected bandits are in the dragnet of security forces of the Littoral Judicial Police. They are said to have been terrorizing the inhabitants of Mbedi and those of Cité de Palmier in the Douala 5 subdivision. The suspects at the time of their arrest had with them knives which they used to attack their victims. Lucy Liengu Ese now takes us to Mbedi.
For the past months, the city of Douala has recorded a series of criminal activities, particularly in Bedi and Cité de Palmier neighborhoods. On October 6, 2024, around 6 p.m., armed individuals carried out an attack at a snack bar in the Cité de Palmier neighborhood, leaving the inhabitants in fear.
We have been informed of the attack made by unknown people in a snack bar at Cité de Palmier neighborhood, collecting money and other things from population, knowing that people will be afraid after the last events take placed in Bali.
Investigations launched by security forces after the assault led to the arrest of 2 suspects.
The regional delegate for national security of the Littoral opened an investigation which permitted us to arrest 2 of them, who will be sent to the prosecutor, convincing us that the first criminal group of Bali, which was neutralized, is not involved in these events of Cité des Palmiers.
The alleged bandits had in possession weapons which they used to execute their acts. Another attack also took place on the night of 16th to 17th of October 2024 by men of the underworld.
The investigations made by the anti-crime squad of the Regional Division for Judicial Police of Littoral lead us to arrest, after just 2 days, these individuals, their daggers and many personal things taken by the robbers. They will be sent to the competent prosecutor.
While law enforcement and security forces launch operations to track down the bandits, the population have been urged to collaborate by denouncing any suspicious act.
Now we take you to Kutaba in the Nous division of the West region, where 1,284 students from the Airborne Troops Battalion in Kutaba have been instructed to be examples. That was after a 2-month training session. The students say they are ready to defend the colors of their country. The details with Cedric Chakutio.
There are in total 1,284 pupils who graduated after they had done 2 months at the training center of the Airborne Troops Battalion of Kutaba, Nous Division, West Region of Cameroon.
En effet, c'est un contingent qui compte actuellement 1284 élèves sous-officiers, composé de 345 élèves sous-officiers de gendarmerie, dont 307 du service général et 38 de la santé.
During the ceremony, the pupils were given the role that the soldier should play in front of the flag of his country and what the soldier should use to succeed in defending his country in front of the enemy.
L'objectif principal, c'était déjà d'abord l'acclimatation à la vie militaire, ensuite leur inculquer les valeurs des forces armées. Et cela passe par des cours aussi bien pratiques que théoriques, en combat, règlement militaire, instruction sur le tir, topographie, hygiène et secourisme.
Is to show that we, student non-commissioned officers, are ready to serve our country until the ultimate sacrifice.
The importance of this ceremony is to define our status, to show the general that 2 months ago now we are already soldiers. I can defend, I as a soldier, I will defend my country through.
These non-commissioned pupils and soldiers of the Battalion of Airborne Troops of Kutaba say they are set and ready to defend their country.
And after several complaints made by stakeholders on Cameroon's continuous export of raw materials and eventual dependence on finished products imported from other countries, the government of Cameroon, through the Ministry of Mines, Industries and Technological Development, have opened a rubber plantation plant in Tico in the southwest region. The plant will go a long way at creating more jobs and reducing the rubber exportation rate. Immaculate Fogwe tells us more in this report.
Cameroon has faced criticism for its over-reliance on exporting raw materials and importing consumer goods. This dependency on raw materials has prevented the development of value-added products and hindered the establishment of a robust manufacturing base. The southwest region is known to have a vast market for raw materials such as palm oil, cocoa, coffee, rubber, to name but these, but unfortunately no industries to transform them. Addressing this issue is crucial for the Minister of Mines, Industries and Technological Development as he launches a project that will enable the transformation of rubber to finished products.
We are calling on all other operators to come in and make sure that we want CDC to transform 70% of what they produce. We don't want to be an exporter of raw materials. We want to transform locally. That's where jobs are created. That's where wealth is developed. So the rest of the country is moving in that.
According to the minister, the choice of the southwest region, and Tico in particular, is well thought of given its nearness to the sea, which makes it a favorable industrial zone.
Domain. And we do not want the southwest, which ought to be the leader, to become a place where we have to be preaching messages. I'm also announcing and taking this opportunity that I'm announcing on southwest soil that from today, the government, the Ministry of Mines has adopted a policy of one municipality, one industry for the whole country.
The rubber transformation plant is expected to create jobs and help boost development in Tico municipality.
And now we talk sports. Andre Onana and Carlos Baleba are the lone Cameroonians who have been nominated for the CAF Awards for 2024. The two will face stiff competition with other top players who were nominated as well. Andre Onana was amongst those nominated for the best goalkeeper and Carlos Baleba in the category of Men's Young Player of the Year. This story and more in our sports page with Semantic and Gabriel.
Just two Cameroonians are found in the list of nominees published by the Confederation of African Football CAF for this year's CAF's award. Amongst them is Andre Onana of Manchester United. In the current year running, Andre Onana has been a great player for both Cameroon and club, which earned him the Best Save award for the month of September in the Premier League. But Andre Onana will have to battle with 9 other contenders for the same award. Amongst them, Yaya Fofana, who helped Cote d'Ivoire to clinch the AFCON trophy, Stanley Nwabale of Nigeria, who was second with Nigeria, and Rowan Williams of South Africa, who was third at the AFCON and also nominated for the top award in the Ballon d'Or. The new midfield maestro of Cameroon, Carlos Baleba, is also nominated in the category of the Young Player Award. Carlos Baleba will battle with 9 others, amongst them Lamine Camara, who was a revelation for Senegal at the 2023 Africa Cup of Nations. The CAF Awards comes up in Morocco late December 2024. Elsewhere, Cameroon will host the Zone 4 qualifiers of the men's and women's qualifiers for the AfroBasket tournament. The tournament has brought together 8 teams, 4 each in the women's and men's category from Gabon, Congo, Central African Republic and Equatorial Guinea. The kickoff of the Zone 4 qualifiers is this Sunday with both categories in action.
Thanks, Matt. Sad reports brings us to the end of the first part of the news. Let's now move on to talking points. You don't go anywhere. Welcome back, viewers. We are still talking about the torture on the artist Lunge Lunge, and our guest tonight is Emmanuel Ndewumbi. He is a civil society actor. Emmanuel, thank you so much for being with us today on the news. Now we are still in the affair of the torture of Lunge Lunge. The update is that the minister delegates at the presidency in charge of defense has ordered for investigators to be opened immediately, and those who tortured him will be punished severely and accordingly. But opinions are already divided on the minister's communique, wondering how many investigations which were opened were finally closed or yielded expected results. Mr. Emmanuel Ndewumbi, are there hopes that this investigation opened by Minister Joseph Betiasomo will yield desired or expected results?
Okay, thank you very much, Anne, and good evening to all the viewers of Equinoxe. I want to start by condemning the act with the last energy in me. You must notice that I am putting on a black, because when you call me for this, I ask myself, what if Lunge Lunge was death in the course of the torturing? and something told me that a lot of Cameroonians have been killed in their spirits, and so I choose to dress in black. That said, I want to think that again, I laud the efforts of the Minister of Defense for thinking that there was a need to open an investigation to such a barbaric act. But the question is, where and who shall proclaim the results of this investigation? This question takes me back to 2017 in Bello, when a certain Sam Sawyer was beheaded by the Cameroon military. I mean, a lot of these things have been happening. A lot of them have happened. And Longe happens to be that son of Africa, protected and guided by the spirits of our ancestors. And that's exactly why some of us think that he's still alive to tell his story while living. What has happened to those who have been tortured, killed, and buried, that their families are never aware? Are we no longer aware, or the Ministry of Defense is no longer aware, that an inquiry was supposed to have been opened for the torture and killing of Wazizi? Wazizi happened to be one of your colleagues. The corpse of Martinez Zogo is still lying at the mortuary today, if at all it is lying somewhere. We are still waiting for results to ever come out. If a state has failed in its duty of protecting the citizens and their property, it means that everybody in that state is living in danger. That is, we are living a life where no Cameroonian citizen, I mean the common ones, are very sure of what happens to them next tomorrow. How far am I in the womb that live in this studio? I cannot be tortured. We have been telling Cameroonians, quiet, silence simply means accomplice. But I want to thank God that whatever happens backstage, there's always the time of God and the hand of God in it, that there will be time for it to come to light. If not, the case of Longe, like millions of others, I say millions of others because people have been tortured in this country enough, physically, psychologically, mentally, and in all ways of torture. Yet, the government has never thought that. Imagine, some will tell you that the state has the monopoly of violence. And you start asking, which state in the world has the monopoly to torture and kill its own citizens? How can you govern a people that you torture every day? Cameroon, at this time, through this video and through this act, can be confirmed, both national and international, that it is a state that tortures its own people. If at all it is found out and verified that those uniformed men are from Cameroon, I think all Cameroonians should seize this opportunity to say no to torture, to say no to the killing of our people by those who are supposed to protect us. If not, we are finished.
Emmanuel, some countrymen, especially from the northwest and the southwest regions, some persons we have spoken with say they have witnessed such barbaric acts severally with regards to the war. Talking about torture and trauma, you are an Anglophone. Do you see any comparison between the torture of Longe and what some southern Cameroonians went through, especially in the heat of the crisis?
Of course, the comparison and the dichotomy is there. We can start. Look, some time ago somewhere I said, when people were clamoring for the head of state, whereabout, I was praying for one thing, that he should come back alive, safe and healthy, because there is a lot very hot on his table to be cooled down. And one of the things I've been crying is that, in all sincerity, whether someone somewhere likes to hear this or not, I will say it, Anglophones are like orphans in Cameroon. Why did I start with the case of Samuel, the man of Bello? He was beheaded, and in a normal state, which went viral the whole world, an inquiry was supposed to be opened. Let's assume that he had connections with Amber. In a state of law, he was captured alive and when captured alive, he should be used for exploit. That exploitation would have certainly helped the state in one way or the other. Why behead him? Now, the case of Longe Longe, some people are even of the opinion that it has gone viral because it's a francophone. I don't know. I might not subscribe to that, but they have the right to their opinion, because quite often than not, we saw the case of Ngabu. When the case of Ngabu happened and the whole Northwest and Southwest were in tears, some people were on television platforms. Notably, I don't want to stigmatize any person here, because it was both Francophones and Anglophones. Those Anglophones who have sold their brothers and they want to think that someone somewhere can trust them for selling their brothers to them. They were on the platforms telling the world that it is Amba that killed and burned Ngabu, until when the head of state himself asked that an investigation be propped into that affair, when it was later on established that it was done by the Cameroon military. Till date, a lot of such things have been happening. You know, there is what used to go up in Norway and South, happy killing, where men in uniform already had that mind that they could just bundle up people at one point, trash them very well, get their legs broken, throw them somewhere and go. Even today, the situation is somehow reducing because of the crime that we have been crying. I want to think that in a state where all the citizens are equal, let issues as such be treated equally.
Now, Emmanuel, let me ask you this random question. We might want to know even, does the artist Longe Longe pose any threat to the country? If no, why is that so much torture?
Making me to laugh when you say that the video has been watched all over the world and it can badly affect the image. Do we have an image to protect? Cameroon, as it stands now, we need to build an image. As of now, we don't have any. The image we have in Cameroon is the image of corruption, embezzlement, torture, frustration. I mean, we don't have an image to protect. The right question would have been, this video going viral, are the culprits going to be brought to book so they can send a message to other Cameroonians that time has come for them to celebrate freedom, not that we have an image? There is no image Cameroon stand to protect, both in and out of the country now. If an elderly member in the House of the Senate can stand up and say, a country of scandals, it is not whom say it. It means that scandal has no image to protect. Corruption, bribery, embezzlement has no image to protect. So we got no image. The viral video has come at the time of God, so that people should know in and out what Cameroonians are going through. I said there are millions of them who have suffered by Longe Longe. They have not been seen. They have never been seen, and they have not been fortunate for their videos to go viral.
Thank you, Mr. Emmanuel, for already talking on the images which keep making rounds in Cameroon, Africa, and even at the global level. Millions of people have watched the shocking footage, and you were already telling our viewers that there can be a take-home message, especially it can negatively affect the image of the country. Now, we might want to find out, let me come back to the question, does Longe Longe actually pose a threat to Cameroon? If not, why was he so much tortured?
42 years government that has failed right down to 0.00 degree in everything, that will tell you that one of the greatest achievements of President Biya is freedom of speech. But I want to tell you on this platform today, what we have in Cameroon is freedom of talking. It is not freedom of speech. Freedom of speech in its advanced definition means a situation where you can talk and match your words with action. As I talk to you now, if I dare go down to the road tomorrow to reclaim this, to take up this torture affair that Cameroonians should stand and say no, I will end up somewhere. That is not freedom of speech. Freedom of speech will mean that what I say to my government, which is not good, I can equally come out, and that same government will protect me if I come out to march or to protest. Now, the case of Longe Longe, I don't think he portrays any danger to this nation. Let's be sincere. Longe Longe, for the simple fact that he's outspoken, and that he says things as raw as they are, is a victim of the regime. To have come out and say Kamto won election did not go down well with some CPDM barons who think that their president is God. As a young man the other day in another channel qualified him as God, that is more than God. In fact, he's already more than God, which is sad, terrible. So it is his right to think that Maurice Kamto won, and asking that if there was to be another election, he would have asked that President Biya sit by the right, Mr. Kamto sits by the left, and they do free and fair election, and that he will be won again. It is not the first time somebody is saying in this country the election were rigged. We know the saga of 1992, and we heard how a famous Abeg Zonga said that we stole the election. He's alive. He's an archive. He's a moving library. And if we want to verify today, we'll go to him and he will give us facts. So I don't think he posed any threat to this country. He's just a concerned citizen who is concerned about the life of his nation and how things are being done in his nation.
No, thank you so much for those analyses, Emmanuel Tivum. We are talking about lessons. What are some of the take-home messages that all and sundry can learn from those images considered as an eyesore to the Cameroonian people?
Yes, of course, there are always lessons to draw from any incident. But I don't want to sound so pessimistic here, because in the core of our military men, there are still those who are still very, very much human. Unfortunately, they are caught in a system where no matter how good you are, at times you need to execute certain orders for somebody up there against your wish. So I'm taking this opportunity to tell the men in uniform in Cameroon, in all their corps, do what is right to free our conscience when the Third Republic comes. And I'm equally telling the government, the fact that you are failed does not mean that you cannot do something right for once. Please do something for once. If the regime is failing, if it is fading out because it must fade out, whether they like it or not, nothing goes up and remains up forever. The force of gravity must pull them down, whether by nature or by the will of Cameroonians. You people should learn. You can fail for 99 days, and on the 100th day, you score a positive mark and be recognized for that.
Thank you, Emmanuel Tivum, for accepting to be our guest on the news tonight on Equinoxe Television. You are a civil society actor. And viewers, we thank you so much for always being with us. That was what we put together for you on this edition of the news. Thank you for always being with us. Our programs continue. Equinoxe Soir comes up at 7 p.m. and the news in the French language comes up at 8 p.m. Enjoy the rest of your day in the company of programs on Equinoxe Television and have a beautiful weekend. Bye-bye for now.